Integers less than a, notes continued. Subtracting integers. When we were adding integers, if the signs were the same, you add and kept the sign. If the signs were different, you subtract and kept the sign a larger number. Well, now we're going to be subtracting integers. I already kind of said this, but I need to go over this again. You need to stop thinking addition and subtraction. You need to stop thinking addition and subtraction and look at the numbers as positive and negative. So when you look at this right here, don't think of that as 2 minus 3. Instead, you want to look at that as a positive 2 and a negative 3. So instead of thinking of it as 2 minus 3, that's a positive 2, that's a negative 3. My signs are different. This part, the algebra part, this is pre-algebra, so we're going to be talking about, we're going to be dealing with variables. So I just throw this in there to show you what it would look like with variables. So you don't want to think of this as negative a minus b, but instead you want to think of it as a negative a and a negative b. Now sometimes you will have minus a negative. Minus negative. So subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. Minus a negative. So this right here. I call those double negatives because remember, minus this is the same as a negative, right? So I call them double negatives. And when you have two negatives, it becomes positive. Double negatives become positive. Now, I don't mean a negative 2 and a negative 3 become positive. I mean minus a negative becomes positive. So in other words, 4 minus negative 5 is actually rewritten as 4 plus 5. Think of it algebraically. So negative a minus negative b. Again, you've got these double negatives right here. When you have double negatives, they become positive. Remember, it has to be back-to-back negative signs. There cannot be a number in between. It has to be back-to-back negative signs. So back-to-back negative signs means double negative, and double negatives become positive. So this a out front here, that doesn't change. That's going to remain negative a. But the minus the negative b, in other words, the double negative b, will become positive b. So again, do not think addition or subtraction, think positive and negative. And if you have a double negative, change it to a positive. If you have a double negative, change it to a positive. If you have any questions about that, let me know.